When my wife, Aurelia, told me she was heading out of town for a reunion with her old college friends, I didn't think twice about it. She'd been acting distant for a while, but I assumed it was just pressure from work. "It's only a few days in Chicago," she said as she packed. "You trust me, don't you?" That question should have stopped me cold. People who aren't hiding anything don't need to hear that. Still, I forced a smile and said, "Of course." But something about the way she buzzed with excitement didn't sit right. The way she kept checking her phone, smiling at messages she wouldn't explain, slipping new lingerie into her suitcase when she thought I wasn't looking. I noticed everything, and stayed silent. Later that night, after she fell asleep, I did something I'd normally never do. I checked her messages. My instincts were screaming at me. And the moment I opened that conversation thread, my stomach dropped. A long stream of texts with her ex, Darian, the same man she'd insisted was just an old friend. These weren't innocent messages. They were graphic. "Can't wait to see you again. Same hotel," he wrote. "Same room," she answered. My hands shook, but I didn't confront her. I just stared until the shock washed out all feeling. 11 years together, and she was about to throw it away behind the mask of a reunion. But instead of rage, something colder settled into me, clarity. The next morning, she acted perfectly normal. Kissed my cheek, grabbed her bag, and said, "Don't stay up for me." "All right," I said with a smile that wasn't real. "Have fun." She paused, just for a second. Maybe my calmness unnerved her. Then she left, humming as she rolled her suitcase outside. The moment her car disappeared, I called an old friend, Cale, a private investigator I trusted. "Follow her," I told him. "Don't get involved. Just observe." He didn't need an explanation. He'd seen this kind of story unfold 100 times. A few hours later, photos arrived. Aurelia checking in alone. Then meeting Darian at the hotel bar. My heartbeat barely changed. I already knew what I needed to do. That evening, I booked a last-minute flight to Chicago. Not to confront her, not to beg. I wanted to hear the truth from her own mouth. When I reached the hotel, I checked in under a different name and told Cale to keep watching. Around 8, he sent a message. "They're going up. Room 812. My chest tightened, but I stayed steady. I walked down the hall, stopped outside the door, and listened. Faint laughter, hers. A sound I used to love. Now it just felt empty. I knocked twice. The door opened to Darian, his shirt half undone, looking startled. Behind him, Aurelia froze like she'd seen a ghost. "Silas," she whispered. "What are you doing here?" "Business trip," I said calmly. "Didn't expect to run into you." Darian opened his mouth, but I lifted a hand to stop him. "Relax. I'm not here to cause a scene." My voice was steady, almost too steady. I just came to say 2 words. Aurelia's face fell, her voice shaking. What 2 words?" I looked at her, really looked, and said quietly, "We're done." Those 2 words hit harder than anything else I could have said. She moved toward me, eyes filling with tears. "Silas, wait, please, it's not what it looks like." "No," I said softly. "It's exactly what it looks like." That's when Darian stepped forward like he thought he was going to be some kind of savior. "Hey, man." She was furious, and honestly, I didn't care anymore. "Let her go," I said evenly. I turned to him with the same steady calm I'd held the whole time. "Darian, you can have her. I just hope you can afford the cost." His eyebrows knit. "What's that supposed to mean?" I handed Aurelia an envelope. "Divorce papers. Signed on my end. Just add yours." Then I looked back at him. "And you might want to check your inbox tomorrow. HR usually isn't thrilled when an employee sleeps with a client's spouse." The color drained from his face. "You're the client." I nodded. "Your firm's biggest one." Aurelia looked like she might collapse. "Silas, please, not here." "You chose here," I replied, still calm. "You chose him. You chose this room. Now you're living with the ending you picked." I turned to walk out, but she grabbed my wrist, sobbing. Silas, I made a mistake. I met her eyes without flinching. No, Aurelia. You made a decision. I'm just closing the door on it. And I left her half-dressed, shaking, humiliated. On the flight home, I didn't cry. I didn't even reflect. I just felt the weight lift. Years of subtle disrespect, guilt games, and emotional manipulation vanished in a single moment of clarity. When I landed, I blocked her number and called my lawyer to finalize everything. By the next morning, the story had spread. Darian was fired. His reputation destroyed. Aurelia tried reaching me from hidden numbers, leaving voicemails full of apologies. I ignored all of them. I had already said everything that mattered. A few weeks later, I ran into one of her friends. She told me Aurelia had moved back with her parents, wasn't working, barely spoke, rarely ate. I just nodded. Sometimes people only recognize your worth when they lose your peace, not your presence. And by then, it's far too late. She asked if I still loved Aurelia. I gave a small smile. Love doesn't survive betrayal. But the lesson sticks. Months rolled by. Life felt quiet again. Clean, simple. I focused on myself, my career, and the serenity I'd almost forgotten. One afternoon, while driving, a text appeared from an unknown number. I still see the look in your eyes from that night. I didn't answer. Because real, calm revenge doesn't scream. It doesn't lash out. It just ends things with a softness that leaves no door open. My wife intended to sleep with her ex on that trip, but 2 calm words stopped her cold. In that pause, she finally understood the truth. You never win by betraying the person who kept their composure. If this story moved you, make sure to like and subscribe. Your support brings more true stories to the screen. Stay tuned for the next chapter.